Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This is a video that I don't even know if I've ever truly done a yarn haul video, and I want to say this is not Naughty Pony. This is just other yarn that I have purchased recently. Of course, you guys know Naughty Pony will be coming out next month. I'll definitely be using my own yarn, of course, like come on. Some of the colors that I use for certain things I won't be carrying just yet. I mentioned this before that my plan with Naughty Pony is, depending on how it is received, how it does, and I guess you could say other political things in terms of like tariffs and whatnot, I have like a good first solid 12 base colors, and depending what happens in the world, depending on how it's received and everything, if everything goes well, if the tariffs aren't anything crazy and I can financially afford to do it again, then probably what I'll do is just expand it to 24 on the next time. But with that being said, of course, I only have my 12 base colors, and there's a lot of other colors that I typically use on a daily basis that I won't necessarily be carrying right away. If everything goes well with Naughty Pony, I really truly do hope to over time expand it into just this huge yarn line. Would be the best thing ever. I mean, I would love to have all the colors and get recommendations from you all for colors, but like I said, that is going to take time. Hopefully you guys will stick with me and support me, and I can't wait to bring you guys along this journey. It is going to be so crazy. And it's crazy to think when I'm recording this video, it's Friday the 13th. Oops. Basically, my yarn should basically be here in about 4 to 5 weeks, which is really crazy to think, because like I keep thinking to myself, oh my god, it's so like far away and everything, but then the days go by so quickly for me because they're so like routine and everything, nothing really changes. But because of that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that time is gonna pass in like no time at all. So with that being said, I'm coming on here to give you guys a yarn haul. I'm not gonna point my camera down at the ground because a lot of these things do have my address on it, and while I love you all, I don't want you to have my address. So I have basically 1 box from Hirschner's and then 6 bags from Hobby. I will never understand why companies send everything in like 6 bags. Like, I don't know how it makes sense. I know Hobby, I think I got like between maybe like 60 skeins, I think. And then Hirschner's, I just got some of the premier colors I needed, and then I got specific yarn for a custom. So we're gonna open Hirschner's first because it is the smallest box I have. This is the box for Hirschner's. I didn't really think this through because I don't have a lot of space like right in front of me to put all this stuff, and a lot of my yarn storage is back in there, which I guess I haven't even shown you guys the yarn room since I redid the yarn room, because I was kind of having a little too much yarn, and I had a lot of yarn in like boxes under tables and whatnot. I fixed the yarn room to have a little bit more organization, but all this Hobby yarn is definitely gonna throw it off because I'm not used to having that much loose yarn per se. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna start off with is the top colors. In general, whenever I buy yarn, I typically buy yarn in bulk. 2 reasons: it does typically end up coming out like a little bit cheaper, and then of course it's also easier for me to store. I have shelves, well, I have like I guess 2 main shelves in my closet for my premier yarns. Typically the yarns that are like in bags and whatnot, I just stack, and then once I open a bag I will remove it and then take the remaining skeins and I put it on another shelf that has my unopened skeins, so I know to grab. And then all of my open skeins are on another shelf next to me, so hopefully I use them before I open something else, but you know, it doesn't always work that way. First thing we have is 3 of the, I think it's Seal. Yeah, 3 of the Seal. I use this color quite often. I would say pretty much if I have to use a gray, Seal is typically the one I use. And I will say the quality with Seal is always so hit or miss. I feel like I've had some really bad skeins of Seal. I've actually recently had some interesting skeins of just Parfait in general, but a girl powers through. It might be painful to crochet with, but we get her done. And next I have is 2 skeins Oh my gosh, I didn't realize this. I have so much orange because I think I bought 20 skeins of oranges from Hobby or Hobby, however you want to say it. That is, okay, well, I have 6 skeins of tangerine. I am technically almost out of tangerine, I believe. I do use tangerine for pretty much any orange thing. And the thing about me, I will say, is I love Honey Bunny. I actually prefer Honey Bunny over Parfait. The problem is, well, first of all, Honey Bunny is like almost what, $10 a skein, which is astronomically crazy. But the other problem I have with it is, well, the price, of course, really deters me. And then sometimes the availability of some of their most popular colors, like pretty much the sale that they had recently, I bought the popular colors that were actually in stock. I just bought a ton of to hopefully hold me over. A lot of those are like the oranges, nougat and everything. When I had done it, they didn't have gold dust or one of the browns that I needed. I typically buy a lot when they are on sale. Now the thing I do with items that are like normal items, market makes, things that I want to offer on an online basis, I do typically try and make them more so out of Premier, just because I know that I can always get Premier. Whether it's from Premier's website, which I hardly ever buy from Premier's actual website. I typically only buy from Hirschner's. Whether it's from Premier's website, Hirschner's, Amazon, if I'm in a pinch, it is more expensive, but it usually gets to me in like a day or two. I've done it before when I've like really needed a color and couldn't wait like a week. I do like to make anything that I regularly offer in Premier. Sweet Snuggles, I'm trying to get out of now that Sweet Snuggles is no longer being produced. I want to just make certain that anything I offer is yarn that I can actually get. So there's like a lot of plushies that I'm going to be redoing coming up, like some of the Pokemon, some of my other standard items that I will be redoing in like Premier or something like that. That way I know I can actually always offer it and it be true to the picture that I'm actually offering. So I have 6 of these tangerines. I have 1 of this blue. Yeah, this is just a standard blue, and the reason I get this is I do a lot of items in this. I have like my stitches, I do my blueies, I think, are in this. Some of it is Eeyore, and then I've got a lot of other animals that are also in it. And then when I had those commissions where I made those edgies, I used this for the body color. So I do go through the normal blue a lot. I actually really should have bought light blue, but I didn't realize it until the other day that I was pretty much almost out of light blue. I do just have a standard blue. I have lilac, I believe is what they call it. Yeah, lilac. It's just lavender. I use it a good deal for unicorns and stuff. I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, I feel like lavender is one of those colors that pretty much across the board is the same. I don't know if anyone else has had this problem. I mean, I haven't opened this to actually touch it. Ugh. It doesn't feel good. I have been having so many issues for Premier's white. I don't know if this is just a me thing. I mean, it has been so bad. It's so stiff and starchy, I feel like. I don't know, white has consistently been a problem for me for a while. I did buy a ton of white from Honey Bunny because I really do like their white and it's way softer. I have been having a consistent problem with Premier's white being not that great, but about 3, I use white a good deal. And then I went ahead and bought black, which honestly the black looks like the best skeins out of this whole thing. I mean, they look really good quality. And black was a color that I used to never buy that much, but I go through a ton of black now. So I also bought a ton of black from Hobby, but I just wanted to have some for Premier. Now here are the actual reasons why I put this order in. Is I got a custom request to make a snuggler, and they wanted the snuggler to be like just like the photo. I don't really have the yarn like Sweet Snuggles wise or Sweet Snuggles light wise to make it like that. And also I was like, ooh, it was already kind of like a small snuggler, so I knew if I switched it out with like Honey Bunny or Premier, it was gonna be like really, really small. Y'all know I'm not a blanket girly. I really do love my Chanel yarns. I hear people talk about this yarn all the time. I figured I'd get it for the custom. I definitely don't think I'm going to be switching over to using this yarn just because, like I said, I am very much a chenille girl. I know people don't like the fact that it frays and it's fragile a little bit more, and it is truly more of a pain to work with than blanket yarn. I definitely prefer the look, and after going to all of the markets I have been to, everyone uses Bernat or this Chanel Brights Basics in my area, they all use blanket yarn. So I do tend to stay more on the Chanel side because it definitely sets me apart from other people that I normally see in my area. Might not be the same for you, but that's definitely what I've noticed for me. The first thing I have is 2 skeins of, I don't know, caramel. This kind of looks like teddy bear. And the normal Premier. I mean, it literally feels like, I feel like I've had yarn like this before in Big Twist, but is it like Big Twist Plush or something? I'm uncertain. I got 2 skeins of this for the body. I have 1 skein of mushroom. I was gonna say this color looked familiar to me. Mushroom. I have 1 skein of sand, and then I have 1 skein of blush, which I think in the pattern that I'm following, blush was of course the nose color, and then just 2 skeins of your good old basic white. I've never used this yarn before, like I said. I mean, I assume it's gonna work up like any other good old blanket yarn, but when I was reading in the pattern, I didn't really know how much to buy, so I just bought like 2 of the base colors, so 2 white, 2 brown, because I knew that those were the colors I would probably be using the most. And then I figure I could certainly make another one of these little cows if I have leftover for my market, because like I said, this isn't necessarily something that I want to offer. It's just something that I needed for this custom, and I really didn't want to do it and then have to re-buy it. So I just figured 2 skeins would probably be totally fine for the project. All right, let's open up this Honey Bunny Hobie. This is our first bag. I'm really not certain how they have this. Like, oh my gosh, they scare me with these things. I'm not certain how they have this. So we may be having lots of repeats, but I will pull up my actual Honey Bunny order for you guys so I can actually tell you what I'm getting, because this could very well be mixed on multiple things. Oh, I will say I definitely put 2 orders in. I had, what did I do? Oh, I made my original order, and my original order, I can tell you guys how many. Okay, so I had 2 separate orders. Okay, I'm gonna say 1 because, oh, okay, I found both of them on my email. I don't know why it's not pulling up. So here's what we got. We got 7 of the pumpkin, 10 of nougat, I don't know, 5 lilac, which their lilac is extremely different from Premier. 4 turquoise, 10 black, 10 white, 6 caramel, 11 peach, 3 beige, 3 oat milk, 3 cool blue, 3 eucalyptus was the first one. And the second one was 6 anthracite, which is like this really dark gray, 2 lemon curd, 1 peach, 1 nougat, 1 pumpkin, because I wanted like the specific color, but then I needed to hit the free shipping. Looking at this now, I definitely should have bought more oat milk with all of the little dolls I have been making, but I should have enough. Let's go ahead and start. Right off the bat, I know that this is oat milk, so we should have, I believe, 3 of them. I believe this is oat milk. I don't know. I see color lots on them. Okay, so we have 3 of this. Like I said, I'm pretty certain this is oat milk. I'm quite familiar with using oat milk. If this is not oat milk, it would be beige, but it looks too light to be beige. I have 3 of these. Like I said, I use this a lot for my dolls that I have been making recently. I hope some of these are in bags because it is a lot easier for me to store. Okay, this is definitely beige. It looks the shade darker. It's not tremendously darker, but oat milk to me is a little bit lighter and has almost like a pink hue to it. Beige to me is a little bit more sandy and it has more of like a tanness to it. So I have 3 beige. I believe everything else is in a bag. Okay. We have 5 whites. I love it when they send me bags, and maybe this is, yeah. And then we have 5 more white. It is just amazing. Like, I can look at this white and I can already tell it is much better quality than Premier. I don't know what is up with the whites on Premier. Second bag. But like I said, I'm not really quite certain why they send me 6 bags. Like, wouldn't it make sense that this would be cheaper to have all in one go? All right. So I know this one is turquoise. I actually find this color quite lovely. I think it's a very beautiful color because it's not turquoise like the Sweet Snuggles Light Turquoise. It's kind of lighter Very beautiful. I worked my, I believe Kato was the one I used on it, and it's one of my favorites. So I got 4 of the turquoise. This is a new color for me. I actually thought I ordered a different color, but I'm realizing that maybe I just didn't have the right color all along. So this is, I believe, eucalyptus, and it's really pretty. I actually have never had the opportunity to own this yarn before, but it's kind of like a really pretty, it looks really hunter green on the camera, like dark, but it's definitely not as dark as hunter green. But I have a feeling I will be ordering this from more on, and it feels so soft. I know not everyone likes Honey Bunny. I actually have less problems purchasing from Hobie and their quality of yarn than I do Premier. I know some people are like, it sheds a ton. Guys, any Chanel yarn pretty much sheds. I feel like if you use Premier and you use Sweet Snuggles Light, all these guys shed the same. Like, there's not that much difference between the 4 brands. So this is, I believe, what they consider their cool blue. So I kind of got this thinking it would be similar to like Premier's blue, but it's definitely not. This reminds me of more like a jean color. The blue from Premier is definitely much lighter, but not saying I don't like this. I definitely could use this for some things. And then in here we just have a bag, which is always appreciated. And this is their lilac, which I find their lilac to be beautiful. It's not as light. It's definitely not light like a lavender, but I think the color is just absolutely stunning. It's much richer, and I, in general, feel like I have switched into enjoying more vibrant colors, contrasting colors, richer colors. When I first started out, I used a lot of pastels. That could have just been the fact that Sweet Snuggles Light, I feel like, is a brand that uses so much more pastels, versus Chanel Home Slim to me has more richer colors that are deeper, not necessarily vibrant per se. They just have darker tones. Like their red is just like almost burgundy or something. Like it's really, really dark. So I definitely do find myself leaning more now into richer colors that are vibrant. I think Hobie has a lot of really good options, and this purple is definitely one of my favorites. It's just one of those ones that while I love it, I never know if I can get it like Premier. Now we're on this bag and it's already open. But I'm seeing a lot of nougat, which makes very much sense since I bought 10 of them. This could just be all nougat. Okay, first one we have is 5 of nougat. I use nougat so much. I use it for dogs. I use it for Roo when I make the little kangaroos. I mean, I use this yarn for so much, and I really can't find a shade like this from Premier or anything, and it does sell out a lot, so I always buy a lot of it, and I go through so much of it. Like, it's amazing. So I have 10 right here. And now we are moving over to caramel. So I have the original 5 of the caramel I ordered in the baggies, and then this is the standalone. Caramel reminds me a lot of the terracotta from Sweet Snuggles Light, so I definitely be using this more with the fact that I'm almost pretty much out of the terracotta I had, but at the same time, I do have a color shade pretty similar to this one coming out in Naughty Pony, so I actually probably will just switch over to using Naughty Pony because it is thicker than these guys, and some of the things I make in terracotta right now, if I were to make them in Honey Bunny, would be like literally like that big, which I definitely don't want it that small. We have this bag now. This bag it's a bit cuter. It has a little handle to it. Oh, and we got all of the oranges. I was wondering when we were gonna get to this. Right here we have 5 of the peaches, and I love this orange. It is like such a vibrant, richer orange than tangerine from Premier. Tangerine from Premier is just like bright. I just think this is like such a gorgeous orange. Got more of this, but I have 5 on that right there. And then here is 5 more of it. Whenever there's a Honey Bunny sale and there is peach, I always buy a ton of it because that is definitely one of the colors that I feel like does sell out really quick when it is available, just because it is that good of a color. Now I had some stragglers. So this was one of the things. I guess his little cover came off, but this is the lone peach to make it 11 on that. And then I have the Lone 2, these are, I believe, pumpkin. And this is very vibrant. This is very strong. But I used this for Flareon and absolutely loved it. And I ended up buying Mango from Premier. Let me show you guys because I thought I thought Mango would be a good substitute, and they are just not the same. Mango is much redder. This is much more of a brighter orange. When I saw it was on sale, I was like, I have to get more because I loved making Flareon in this. It looked like the absolute perfect shade for Flareon, and I could definitely see like Charmander, Charizard, any of those orange Pokemon also working up super nice in this. So I did go ahead and buy 7. I believe I may have one more skein from a previous purchase, but definitely not enough. And I don't know if you guys can tell, I do not like to run out of yarn. It is like one of my biggest fears is running out of yarn. I would rather be super stocked because let's face it, it might take me a little bit to get through the yarn, but I do use all of my yarn, and I just hate feeling like I don't like, I'm like if I run out, if I have like 2 skeins left of a yarn and I want to make something, that gives me like the heebie-jeebies. So I always am buying yarn because I always want to make sure I'm well stocked, and I never know when I'm going to be contacted and asked, hey, can you make this? And it's like, oh yeah, but I don't have that yarn anymore, or I need to go order that yarn, and maybe the yarn's not in stock, or you know, whatever. So I do very much so prepare ahead of time and buy a lot of yarn at once, so I'm well stocked. We have 2 more bags. These are just nice, good size bags. I think these are gonna be a lot more looser colors because I feel, oh, there's more orange. Okay, this is the second order. This is definitely the second order. Once I saw the colors, I'm like, okay, this is the second order I put in. Another pumpkin, another peach, another nougat, and their lemon curd is very bright, but I really appreciate it because I feel like I really enjoy the brighter yellows opposed to the pale yellows, the pastels. They're almost like too pale for me. These are 2 lemon curds and it's so soft. And then right here, we have the gray that I was talking about earlier. It's almost like a steel gray. It's definitely very dark. I don't know if you guys can tell. I made a wolf in this for a pattern test, and one of the things about me, like I have already said, is I posted that wolf to my website to be purchased, and so now that it's on the website and there's a possibility of somebody ordering that plushie and me making multiples of that plushie, I do not feel comfortable listing anything if I don't know if I have enough of the yarn. So I went ahead and bought yarn, so if I ever get contacted about making that wolf again or making another wolf in a darker color, I have it. I'm much more comfortable offering things that way than having to scramble. Especially when Honey Bunny is at a good price, you buy a ton of it. This is our last bag. I think it's one of the smaller ones. It's definitely not stuffed as full. So this should be, oh, I actually think this is just one color alone. This looks like black. I think both of them are black. We have 5 black, then we have 5 black. I have an absolute mess on the floor, but I realized I haven't shown you guys my yarn area, and it is a little bit of a disaster because I haven't cleaned it up in a little bit. I feel like we're gonna do some cleaning today, but I will go ahead and show you guys that. So let me see if I can just take over the full tripod. So you guys already know back there, look, it's like actually insanity now that I did that. Back there is where I keep all my acrylic. Down here I have some of the leftover Bernat I have, and then fur yarn. And then this is where I have most of the yarn. Let me put you guys down. Raise you up, I'll raise you. I just made that song up. Alright, so this is pretty much some of the yarn room. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I pull these out and when they're just loose skeins, because if you have a bag and it already has one missing, it's like a Tower of Pisa in here. And I'll show you guys the loose skeins over here as well. But right here we have bags of Premier, so I'll add the bags that I purchased today in this section alongside Honey Bunny because I can kind of like readjust things, like move this row that you guys don't see, but move it, put it on here, put the 5 over there. You guys can kind of see these are boxes of some of the leftover Sweet Snuggles Light and Chanel Home Slim I have. This is all Sweet Snuggles Light, Chanel Home Slim. Starting to dwindle a little bit up there, but I do have 2 more boxes plus extra on top. The hard thing is A lot of those colors aren't typically the colors that I normally use as much. Like the pinks are lacking, and when I tell you guys the pinks are lacking, let me show you. I do technically have 3 skeins of pink, but it's the crappy pink. It's like the weird pink. I actually have a light pink coming out for Naughty Pony. I won't have to use that anymore. Throughout that whole process, before I really knew that the yarn was gonna come and there was so much like uncertainty with the yarn, I just went crazy and I was buying anything. And at the time I wasn't really using Honey Bunny. I wasn't using Premier enough to be able to be like, okay, even if I didn't have Sweet Snuggles Light, I would have been totally fine using Honey Bunny and Premier, but I didn't know it at the time. So a lot of skeins that I bought aren't necessarily the best skeins. They were just skeins that I was like, oh my god, I gotta have. So some of the colors are definitely rougher than others, but I still have this, and this goes all the way down, as you guys can see, and down to the floor. It has some bags of some of the colors, mainly being like gray. I think I have a lot of grays, some of the blues, greens, white, black, but some of them are really sketchy. So I think what my plan is, I'm gonna continue to work through this. This weight will be compatible with Naughty Pony, of course. And so probably my plan will be to just continue to work through all of this. And then once it's done, it's done. And then maybe by that point I will have expanded and added more color ranges like this to Naughty Pony. But that's where we are right now with that. Now I'm gonna turn you guys this way, and it's looking a little rough, so please excuse. This is the new part of the yarn room. I have not shown you guys. Well, first of all, I feel like we need to bring you all a little lower. Let me show you. Oh yeah, so down here, that is all my packaging supplies for my online orders. These are all market bags and everything, or if I have any orders that come. This is also my packaging slips. Yeah. And let's point you guys this way. There's not a lot of space, I do have to say. I really made room with what I got because this wasn't here originally. We put up these shelves because I was overflowing with yarn, and there was only so much space I had on the floor. So we had all of this. So basically how I have this laid out, I'm not certain how much you guys can see, packaging supplies and everything on the bottom. Up here, let me lift you guys. This is all Feels Like Bliss, and then that's extra Feels Like Bliss in bags. I'll probably put some of the Honey Bunny stuff up there too. That's just like, it's too high for me to reach. So I put anything that I don't normally need to get to, but I've got all my Feels Like Bliss. The Feels Like Bliss closer to the front is Open Feels Like Bliss, because that way I actually remember to use the open skeins. This looks a little crazy. I was pulling yarn out of here and just, I didn't put it back. This is all Elise Softy Plus. When a girl commits to buying a yarn, she commits to buying a yarn and buys a lot of the yarn. So this was my first purchase of Elise. I do use it. It's not a yarn that I use like for say all the time, but it is a yarn I use enough where I definitely will get through these skeins. It will just take some time. It's not like a Chanel yarn like Honey Bunny or Premier or Sweet Snuggles or Naughty Pony that I would normally use on a daily basis, but it is definitely something that I use, and I'm hoping to use a little bit more because I'm hoping my next market I'll have even more Feels Like Bliss and other just textiles on the table besides Chanel. This is all the Honey Bunny that I have currently out. There's some gaps like over here because that's where the white and nougat and then oat milk is. So I will fill those guys up. There's definitely no way, this was the Honey Bunny section. There's definitely no way that the Honey Bunny that I purchased today will fit all in here. So I'm gonna have to do some rearranging and figure out where I can put the excess skeins, but like I said, I do have some of them in bags, so should be able to throw them up. And then I'll switch you guys over here. This is the situation with the loose skeins. It looks really crazy. There's Jenga out here. You just can't tell. This is what happens with all the loose skeins. So when I open a bag and I have like I open the purple, I put it over here. I do need to fill the loose like little holes. I'll do that. But I put it over here, and then that way when I walk in here, I go over here and look first for the color I need, opposed to opening up a new bag and then I'm like, oh, I didn't really need to open that new bag. I could have just came here. It does kind of look crazy because I started to realize there were a lot of skeins that I opened multiples of. Like I would have like 3 of these open and out there, and I don't need 3 of them out there for me to use. So I did start putting some used skeins in here as well at the front, so then that way I really know like, hey, these are open, you've used them but you haven't finished using them, so use them. And I do have some miscellaneous yarn that I just need to get rid of. Like I've got this skein of Sweet Snuggles Light and those polka dot stuff that I don't really use variegated yarn. I do not enjoy working with variegated yarn. So I do need to figure out something for that. And then this I just need to get rid of. I have a whole box of Burnett, Posh, some other different types of yarns, and I have even more beneath me that I have to try and figure out where I can donate it to, because I just don't use that yarn, and with as much yarn as I have and will have, I don't feel the need to keep things if I can't use it, or don't want to use it is what I should say, because I really don't want to use it. But that's the yarn room. I'm not going to show you the bottom part because it's crazy out there, like I said. But beneath my desk I have my full fur box that is pretty much all Hobby Lobby fur and Big Twist fur, and then I also have the box that has my flower yarn from Tina, made with April. You guys can also get her flower yarn, and so I have a box full of that, and then I have a box that also has the Burnett blanket ombres. Don't ask me why I bought it, because I don't like Burnett, but I think when Joanne was going on like closing, I had gone to the store and got really like wound up, and I bought so much of that Big Twist fur, and I do not enjoy working with the Big Twist fur. So I have to find a way to use it, get rid of it, because I don't enjoy working with it. Hobby Lobby, if you're gonna use fur and you don't need crazy colorful fur, Hobby Lobby has like the best for single strand, not multiple strands, not too thick. Highly would recommend that fur over Big Twist. I guess that's everything I have for you guys. We'll end it in here in the yarn room. I have never done a video like this, even though I do get yarn in really frequently. Like, I would say I typically have a big shipment of certain yarns, like Hobie. Anytime there's a sale I get a big shipment in. Premier, I pretty much get a pretty routine shipment like every 2 months. And Sweet Snuggles, I used to get huge shipments like constantly, but now that that's out, no mass on that one. But I do get a lot of big shipments of yarn, but I just never record it because I don't know if people are really that interested in seeing it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and then keep an eye out because Naughty Pony is coming, and I'm going to be taking you guys along the whole process. And if you think this is a lot of yarn, wait until you see 19,000 skeins of yarn, because oh mama, we are both gonna be surprised, because I ain't never seen 19,000 skeins. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you guys, or I hope you guys look forward to seeing me, because I can't see y'all. But I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. Bye!